you don't got no sauce, then you're lost. But you can also get lost in the sauce.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back for another episode. Today, we're going to be gapping some piston rings. But before we get started, I want to just reiterate the whole reason on why I'm doing this build. I knew coming down from Colorado, for a while, I wasn't going to have access to all of my tools, wasn't going to have all the space to do so. So I kind of wanted to do a build that would, follow along those guidelines. Also, I wanted to do something extremely cheap, something that I'm not spending a whole bunch of money on. And something that you can do at home, similar to, what you see we got here. So that was the whole reason I chose this build, doing this single cam. And I just want to make sure you guys know that, running a shop, doing all that, that's completely different than you guys at home doing your own build. So I wanted to pretty much just make something that went along those lines of, backyard build, something that you can do just at home. Now, normally, you guys know we would have a full setup. If you went to a shop, they would be using, all the top of the line tools, which I, highly recommend. But for a lot of you guys out there, you guys just don't have the time or the money to go ahead and send all that stuff out. So you guys want to find a cheap alternative to be able to do it yourself. And that's why I did this build. That's why I'm doing all this. And it's fun. Everybody wants to go fast. And some people think that you have to have a whole bunch of money to do it. And you got to fit all these guidelines. But forget all that. Just have fun with it. A lot of times people think they know everything and all this, and listen to what other people have to say, but just have fun with it. This is cars, guys. Like, you guys have no idea the drama I have to deal with on a daily basis, like in the comments, in my inbox, and all this stuff, people saying, oh this, oh that, yada yada yada. Just have fun with it. You know what I mean? I've done things on motors that people are like, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I've had mad success. And I'm sure a lot of you guys out there feel the exact same way. So just have fun with it and don't listen to the haters. Just keep having fun. Keep doing what you're doing. Because your success will speak for itself. And I've figured that out in my life with cars and everything. Just keep your head down and keep doing what you want to do. So that's the whole point of this. I know when you guys see what I'm about to do here on gapping these piston rings, you guys are going to be like, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't this, that, and the other. But it's about doing it cheap. Some of us don't have the money, like I was just saying, and some of us just want to have fun and do it. So that's my whole reason on why I'm doing this build and how I'm doing it. But that being said, let's go ahead and get onto this build and gap some piston rings. Alright, so before we get started, I just want to show you guys the block. Got it resurfaced. Also got it bored and honed. While it was there, I didn't have my tool with me. Could have picked one up, but the price that they were doing it for was pretty cheap, so just had them take care of it. And it looks super good, super nice. Also got the rods resized. Since it spun that bearing, it's best just to get these, resized. Still waiting on the bearings in the mail for the mains and for the rod bearings. So that should be here in a couple days. Here are the pistons that I ordered. They are the Vitara Pistons, as you can tell, and they are 0.5 over. So a little bigger displacement on them. So should be good to make some power. All right, let's go ahead and gap these rings. Get started with the first ring. You're going to notice there's like a little label here. Always make sure that that is facing up. Then from there, we're going to take this over to the block. Go ahead and set it in the cylinder. And you're first going to want to check and see what it's at and see how much you're going to have to take off. So I'm going to set the camera down for a second and get that set in there. Once you got the ring in there, just grab one of your pistons. Go ahead and just make it somewhat flush, just as much as possible. You can see from the factory that that gap is extremely tight. We're going to go ahead and open that up a little bit. Now, with a all-motor application, you don't want that gap to be too big because you'll lose compression. You want high compression if it's naturally aspirated. Now, when it's going to be a boosted application like this one is, you want to make sure they can eat. And these single cams, sometimes they are notorious for blowing up. So I'm going to make sure it's got a good gap on it. I'm going to go 26 on the top, and then I'm going to do 29 on that bottom ring. That way we, have enough air going by it, and it should be enough to make the type of power that we're trying to do, and safely. So let's go ahead and get it grinded down. We're going to go ahead and start filing the piston ring. Normally I would use a grinding wheel attached to a table. That way you could use both your hands. You don't got to worry about it shaking around or anything like that. But like I said, I'm not going to go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff. I want to keep this as cheap as possible. So I simply just went out and got a file. I've seen people do this online and it works. So we're going to do it here. Do stick to one side. You'll see you can stick to the side with the label on it. You can stick to the other side. That way you know how much you've kind of taken off. You can kind of feel it, because there is really no going back. Once you take off too much, you're pretty much done, and you got to go buy a new set of piston rings. So take off a little bit at a time, check it. Take a little bit off at a time, check it, and then you'll be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and start grinding this one away. I'm going to go ahead and stick with the side without the label on it, right over here. Just grab your file, hold it with your hand, because you don't want this to bend here, this little piece to bend. So hold it kind of close, not too close, but close enough, and get your file on it like this, and just start grinding away. So as you can see, that gap is a lot bigger than it was before. I just went ahead and set them all into their spot. And now I'm going to get the feeler gauge, just check it one more time, make sure these are good. Second ring's in there. I got them all set at 29 for the second ring. I'm just going to go ahead and check it real fast with the feeler gauge, make sure it's on point. All the rings are gapped. We're going to go ahead and get the rings onto the pistons. First, you're going to want to start with your oil rings. You're going to start with this one here. Just go ahead and place it all the way down. You want to make sure it doesn't get bunched up or anything. You can see there it's flush with itself, easy to move around and so forth. Now we're going to take one of our oil rings. I'll go ahead and get this one around it. Just squeeze it like that. All right, you're going to want to get this one underneath it, like so. Make sure it's even all the way around. All right, sweet. All right, that one's underneath. And now we're just going to go ahead and grab another one and get it right there on the top of that one. So you got one on the bottom, you got your oil ring, and you got another ring there on the top of it. So go ahead and place this one on. Alright, now our oil ring is done. You want to make sure that these little things here don't line up. It's not going on the motor right now or in the next couple days, but you always want to make sure when you do get it on, make sure that they aren't lined up. I'll show you that with the compression rings as well. Now grab your second compression ring. Make sure you got the little logo on it. You can't really, I know you're not going to be able to see that on camera, but make sure whatever markings are on it are always facing up, because this one here is going to scrape the oil. That's going to bring that oil back down and then return it. So this one, we'll just go ahead and snake this one around. Alright, now we're going to grab our last ring, the one on the top. This one's a lot easier to get on than the second one. You're just going to get it in the groove and snake it on. Alright, now like I was saying before with the oil ones, you want to make sure that they're not lined up together. You want to make sure that they're on the opposite side of the piston. So get the second one like that, and you'll want the other one on the opposite side when you go ahead and put it on. Alright, now we just need to go ahead and get the rod connected to this piston. With these Vitara Pistons, they're going to be the opposite of what they are if you were going to put these into a Suzuki. The exhaust valves face the back side, closest to the firewall, and then the exhaust valves are closer to the front of the vehicle. So the rod is going to go on like this. So you'll want your notches, you'll see the notches here, you're going to want those facing the front of the vehicle. So you're going to get these in, put them in place. And you just slide it through. All right, now that the rod is on the piston, we need to go ahead and secure it in place. So get yourself a pair of hog ring pliers, or snap ring pliers is what most people call them. And then you're gonna wanna grab your snap ring. You're gonna see here, there's little holes right there on the top of it. It's easy, just conveniently fits right in place. Go ahead and squeeze it together. You're gonna see there's a little groove here on the top, and just put it in place. That easy. All right, and then you wanna go ahead and do the same thing on the other side, and I'll do that real fast. We are complete. All right, not much to it, guys. Pretty much just your normal household tools could get the job done. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to hit me up in the comments or write me on Instagram. But again, thank you guys for watching. Go ahead, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
If you don't got no sauce, then you're lost. But you can also get lost in the sauce.